us.
Yay, Peggy! Woo!
I only listened to Peggy.
Okay. I want you guys to know I was at Katina's house and I was like, "Do you know who Peggy George is?" Wait, okay, start recording. I'm gonna do this part on the air.
Okay,
I love
this
one.
I'm telling you, Peggy told me to start recording, so we're already recording.
Do you want to do your intro?
Okay, well, I mean, yeah, but Sean's not here. He's eating sushi, so hold on.
You can start. I'm just going to be off screen while I.
Oh, okay. Oh, you're there. You're there. Okay.
Yeah, I'm right here. Here.
Okay, good. All right, that's good. John, edit here. Hello and welcome to Techlandia. How are you doing today? I am John Samuelson in the rainy city of Portland, Oregon. We also call it the Rose City because you know why? Because every rose has its thorn, I guess. I'm coming to you. I don't know. I'm feeling a little grouchy today. I'm a little snarky. Maybe I'm confusing this with grumpy old teachers. But we have a guest, I think, that will bring me right out of that mood. But first, I have two co-hosts that always bring me out of that mood. We will start off with the principal of Petaluma, and her name is...
Woo! Amy Fidegi. What up, y'all?
There you go. Oh, wait. That wasn't very good. Hold on.
Oh, that was sad.
That's all you got for us, Amy? Nothing going on today besides Bad Hair Day?
Oh, major bad hair day and such a rainy day here. I did like every rainy day recess possible, which is actually super fun, so I'm not complaining at all. But yeah, tired principal. Just got home 5 minutes ago.
Did you get a nice moody Instagram of the rainy recess a la Tim Lauer?
I don't think so.
Tim is very good at the rainy recess. Well, the rainy recess in Portland, we just call that recess. And we just go out anyway, and the kids bring their raincoats. Tim Lauer can make a nice rainstorm look beautiful because that's his chi.
Yeah.
Tim is my new major principal crush. So
yeah. Tim put the bow in rainbow.
All right.
Okay, there we go. We're gonna kick it down to the South Bay. And one of our favorite people. I think he's probably the only person cool enough to replace Kurt Reeves on a podcast, and his name is
David Terrio.
Rhymes with stereo.
Green Steel. No, just kidding.
Green Steel. There we go. I think we have something there.
Yeah.
I actually know that Kurt Reeves right now. I happen to have this on good Voxer authority that Kurt Reeves is traveling to La Crosse. I thought he was going to say he was going to Milwaukee, but he would never go to Milwaukee. He's traveling to La Crosse, Wisconsin, and he's going to go see a presentation from Kevin Honeycutt, who must be freelancing somewhere about some parent thing.
Cool.
I don't know. I was kind of like, okay, there you go.
Cool.
Well, if you're watching the Vox or the Blab live, you won't see our special guest, but he assures me that he's there. Sean Zebarth, would you like to introduce? Oh, there he is. Would you like to introduce yourself, please? Oh wait, now your mic's turned off.
What?
Oh, you ruined the time.
Oh, you're back.
Oh, look at that. Oh no, sound effects are going already. Okay, go ahead, Sean.
All you missed was me saying, "I'm Sean Zebarth." That was it.
What up, Sean?
Hi.
All right.
Thanks for
Sean,
having me.
Thanks for being on here. I think that I'm thinking I'm going to make this into a nice Adobe. I've got a notebook right here.
Okay.
And you English teachers will like it. Look, I've got a pen and a pad, and I am going to sketch note out what you talk about. But I think I'm going to make it into a nice little Adobe slate because I have so many good pictures of you and David Terrio from your last National Q conference. I thought it was pretty good. I mean, we have some really rocking. I took some pretty rocking pictures of you too.
David, is that where we? No, it's not where we first met. It is where we. No, it's not.
That was, oh my gosh, Amy, that was so insightful. Thank you for that one.
I'm sorry, John.
You almost had a moment there, and then no.
I can't really remember where Amy and I first met because usually when you first meet Amy, it's accompanied with a giant hug that is almost concussion causing, and then you kind of black out for a second.
Right, true. I think it was e-learns maybe, but I think maybe I'm thinking of I don't know, Q, because I have a picture of it on my phone.
It was good. Well, I have Sean and David play in the big room at the Q. Was that the keynote room, wasn't it, David?
Yeah, it was a little too big.
Okay, now I'm going to
Matter of
say
fact,
this
the only person I remember even being in the audience was you, John Samuelson.
because I came up and I said, I want some pictures. I want some pictures.
No, I think you were the only one in the room. It was this
That is
giant
so not
room,
true.
and you were there. You took some pictures, and you looked like you were paying attention, and it was very nice of you.
I did pay attention. And you know what? I was just going to say, if it wasn't for Sean at that presentation, David would have totally have tanked that. I mean, you saved David's tushy on that one.
Oh, really?
That's what I'm saying.
Obvious, right?
Okay, there we go. All right, so that was a fun one. So, Sean, tell us a little bit about what you do. All right, now remember, you're swinging out of my wheelhouse here because high school education to Fidesi and I, that's like we don't know it. We try and understand it, but we like to know a little bit more about high school.
I'm still learning and still trying to understand high school education. So here I am.
Okay.
I've been teaching for the past 9 years at Fountain Valley High School. Yes. I'm just across the campus from David Terrio. I happen to be in my classroom right now because my students are working on their every 15 minutes program. I teach video, broadcasting, print journalism, and AP language and composition, English. And so my students, here, let me unplug. I'm putting you guys on.
Oh, this would be awesome. Okay, here we go.
Are you ready? You're going to be on. It's a podcast. Nobody's watching.
Nobody listens to this podcast.
Don't worry.
We had a lot of Leone last time. She's like, I've never heard of this podcast.
They're my students. They're eating sushi, and so they are. They're working on every 15 minutes. It's a program to discourage drinking and driving, and they took footage today, filmed this fake accident, and then they put it all together tonight, and then we watch the video tomorrow in an assembly.
And what Sean didn't tell you is that usually the police department would take care of making the video, but the first time Sean's kids did it, they did such a great job that they have to do it all the time. And it's amazing they do it in one night. It's like unbelievable. Because it's a powerful video.
Yes, I would like to make one clarification. The students of this class were doing it before I was advising it.
Dr. Paul.
Students of this class, of this program, they did such a great job. So we're continuing to do a great job. But so
that's cool. That's cool. I feel like when we do the I run we have a K through 12 film festival in Beaverton that I'm partly responsible for, like making sure everything goes off. I feel like at some point I want to talk somebody else in a different state into doing, like putting on maybe just even like a school film festival, so that we can kind of like trade back and forth and things like that. Maybe we need David to bring you up for breakfast on Saturday at Q, and we need to make
we could do that. My students this year in that class, they're actually starting. It's the first time they've ever done it, but we are going to do a school film contest, and we're trying to keep it small because we had grandiose ideas like, oh, let's do all this stuff, but I'm like, oh, let's pare it back. It's our first one. Let's see how it goes. So we are going to do that. So I'd love to trade ideas.
We do it the whole 9 yards. It's the big film festival for our whole school district of 40,000. How many students are at your high school, David and Sean?
They're not quite 38, 37 something, I believe.
Okay, wow. Okay.
3,700.
Right. Okay.
Right.
That's a pretty big high school, though. That's like graduating classes. That's like mine. I think my graduating class was like 965 or something like that.
Oh, okay.
So,
our district has only 16,000. There's no 40,000. But this community is broken into several. We have an elementary. We actually have 3 elementary districts that feed into us, and so we're just a union high school district. We're not a K-12 district.
Yeah, it's kind of strange how that isn't that weird how that happens. Like in Texas, everything is like an independent school district. Like that's their whole thing. So if you're in this, it's like the LISD or AISD or whatever. It's always and I never really understood the whole independent school district thing. But I remember in Chicago, it was like my mom worked in District 97, but then the high school was almost just separate. They made a bunch more money at the high school because my dad taught there and my mom was in the elementary school. Didn't really make a lot of money back in the 70s and 80s. So It's just
And
kind of
you're
funny how that
rolling in it
works.
now, right? You're just
Oh now she's just rolling in it. Just rolling in the dough. I'm rolling in the dough. Elementary school teachers, unless you're a principal like Fideji, then you really are rolling in it.
Don't get me started on
She has that nice soft headboard behind her. I mean, that's
I know
Yeah,
she's
yeah.
really
big bucks.
blinging out.
Pottery Barn.
You want to know how I got
Yes.
this? Yes. So it's totally Pottery Barn because the last time that I taught second grade, I had a family who worked for West Elm Pottery Barn, and the mom ordered this, and it was the wrong one, so she gave it to us for like $100.
Nice.
Oh, nice. Okay.
I just
The hookup.
Can't go
Yeah,
wrong.
nice.
Like, what? It's my first headboard of my life. I felt so grown up.
Amy,
I know.
If you have a headboard. Okay. I don't. I still sleep in my living room. But okay, here. This is just a little side note.
John, you have a very nice singing voice. That was very surprisingly nice.
I've started to sing a little bit on Grumpy Old Teachers, and Scott's kind of liking it. We have like a little theme music in between. It's kind of fun. I've just made up my own songs with it. But cross your fingers for me because we're in a really small house with my 4 children, and we just put down money on a house, which is really hard in Portland. So maybe in like a month or so, or 45 days or so, I could have a house, and then maybe I'll get a headboard someday and be grown up.
I will work
Oh
on that
man,
for
I'll
you.
be so grown up. Okay, now Sean, we could talk about this stuff all day, but this is so boring to everybody else. So let's talk a little about what you do, Sean. So like, I think that one of the things we would like to know is like journalism in high school. And I was looking at some of the stuff that you wanted to talk about. So let's start. I mean, when I was in high school, I think I wanted to be, this sounds right, David, right? I wanted to be like a sports journalist. I thought I could be a sports journalist. I ended up just being kind of a DJ for a little bit, but not a cool DJ like Scott Bedley.
I was a journalism student for a while.
Were you a journalism in college? Were you a journalism
Yeah,
student?
absolutely. I wrote for the OCC report,
See,
and I was the editorial editor.
Nice. Yeah, I think I just wanted to watch sports and like be like, okay, here we go, and like be all fancy. But yeah, I would like to know what's going on. Like, what are I have a feeling you do really cool activities with your students, and so I feel like the Techlandia listeners would just like to know some of the cool ideas that you're putting into your high school curriculum.
Well. So you know what's interesting? A little bit of backstory. I didn't get involved in it till I was in college, and that's what makes me so excited because had I known like all the cool things that you could do and the possibilities of being a journalist in high school, like that would have been where I fit. Because in high school, I wasn't really involved in anything. I just go there, and when the waves were good, we'd ditch, or we'd for PE, we'd work out. For cross country, we'd run to the donut store and stuff. So I think if I would have had a little bit of direction in high school, the whole journalism thing would have given me a good direction for that. So, it's great because we do the video broadcast, and that airs to the whole campus twice a month. And then we do a print newspaper, and that's out in print every other month, but we're online, baronnews.com every day. And really it's student run. California has they're very protective of their student journalists in California. And so the students decide the editorial content, they help run the class. Every year is a little bit different because every year the new producers of the video broadcast, which is, by the way, you could find it on vimeo.com/BBN. So
it's amazing, by the way.
So every year, the new producers or the new editors, they've usually been in the program for a couple of years, and so they bring with it, hey, what do we want to try this year? We've been in the program for a year or two, and now we want to try stuff. So that's really the most exciting thing about these classes is really building it every year and trying out new things with the students. And it's to the point where I'm actually trying to turn my English classes into more like production classes, like my video and my print broadcast are, because students, we do a good job at training students to sit in their desk quietly and wait to be told what to do, and that's not going to help anybody once they get out of school, right?
What do you? Can I ask
Yeah.
a question? What do you think the percentages of like people that are still doing that, training kids to sit in desks? And
Well, you know,
listen?
is
Is that real?
no,
still?
I mean, I'm not saying no. I'm being a little facetious because there is, you know, realistically, we've got 37 students in each of our classes, and so to control, you know, a group of students that big, it does take that classroom management that automatically, you know, kind of beats down the student when they need to sit quiet because you got to talk about stuff, and so. No, I mean, I think that's definitely shifting, and I think it'll continue to shift. But I think it's still kind of a problem. Yeah, something we're still working on.
Yeah,
yeah.
I think it's out there for sure. And right, it's. We were actually, you know what? You'll love this, Amy. Scott Bedley and I were just talking about this today on Voxer. Just talking about like having control.
So jealous. Scott just talks to you all the time.
He talks to me a little bit.
What do I have to do? It's so annoying.
I don't know. I was listening to the George Couros episode before I put it up real quick, and I remember that you were all fired up at George Couros. You're kind of fired up at Scott Bedley too, a little bit, aren't you?
No, he doesn't even like me anymore. It's so sad.
I think he does like you. I think.
Anyway, okay, what were you guys talking about?
Amy.
Right.
Okay, thank you. I mean, I'm just a nice elementary principal looking for some
If
friends.
you're down in the OC, last time I was down in the OC, all four of us. You would be Scott Bedley. We went out for sushi, so now you could come in and you could be the fifth person.
Yeah, and Amy, I'm going to be honest. If you're looking for friends and you're sitting here with us tonight, it says a lot about you, Amy. It says a lot about you.
All righty, okay. Back to raising hands in classroom.
That's cool. So, all right. Okay. So, tell us a little bit more. So, I think it's an interesting thing too when you talk about like the students creating the video, like the every 15 minutes video. I think that there's a lot of like, I always, even in elementary schools, I'm like, why don't you just have the kids do that? Like the teachers want to kind of do everything, and I'm like, that's cool. I'm glad that the teachers want to do everything.
Yeah.
And I like to make videos too, but why don't you have the students make like some videos about the rules? We were doing PSAs today with third grade. It was great. It's great to watch them and just go, why don't you do that? And I think if we can get that, maybe we can get that into them earlier. By the time they get up to you, then maybe they're really doing some great work.
No, for sure. You know, and my father's been teaching. My father teaches fifth grade. It's his second career. He started teaching when he was 55. And when I got into teaching, he told me, this is one of the things that rings in my head every day. My father told me, he's like, the more you do, the less the students learn. And that's really been kind of, you know, prophetic to how things have gone, you know, in education that we're coming around to, you know, understanding that, you know, we can do all this stuff, but so can the students. And so you know, I think elementary school probably does a better job than this in a lot of ways than high school does, is giving kids particular responsibilities within the classroom. So when they come into the classroom, you have someone who, you know, takes role, someone who's in charge of the board or whatever, and they have ownership of their classroom. And I think we lose that once we get to high school.
I think you're right. I want David to talk a little bit. I think your guys' backstory is so interesting. So, David, why don't you tell us a little bit about yours and Sean's history? Because I thought that was really cool when you did that at your session at Q. I mean, it's a cool story, right?
Yeah. So Sean and I went to elementary school together at Newland Elementary, the Dolphins. And,
Go Dolphins!
Yeah, we were the Dolphins.
Are they still the Dolphins? I don't think they're still the Dolphins.
I don't think they're still the Dolphins, but we were by the ocean. So, and so in fifth grade, they built a new elementary school in the district, and they split up everybody. Mm-hmm. And so Sean was like the cool kid. I liked him. I always
child haters.
I always loved watching Sean swing a baseball bat, right? Because if you're listening to this podcast, you might not know, but Sean has 8 fingers. He does not have thumbs. And so he always does finger up instead of thumbs up. And
he's showing it right now.
Yeah.
No, David, I don't say finger up. I say, give me the finger. That's how it works. The index finger.
So then, even though Sean and I were both involved in kind of some alternative music scenes, and Sean was probably a little more of I wasn't a skater at all. Sean kind of more a skater and a surfer and just hanging out. We didn't see each other for, I don't know, maybe 20 years.
Yeah.
And then I moved next door to his brother, and I was talking to him. They have a very unique last name, right? Zebarth. And I said, hey, do you know this kid named Sean Zebarth? And he's like, oh my God, this is my brother. I was like, oh man, like you have to say hi. And so then Sean came over, and then we started talking and stuff like that. And I was like, oh, what are you doing? And he's like, oh, I'm in the music business, and but it's not looking so good now. And I'm thinking about using my master's, because he has a master's in creative writing.
Yes.
Yep, in creative writing from BYU, which is
University of Utah.
Oh, sorry.
How could you mess that up? That's a big sin right there in Utah.
Yeah, from BYU, right?
Yes. BA, BYU.
Okay, all right.
University.
Okay. I knew he went to BYU.
Okay.
So
College
anyway,
agnostic.
That is so weird. That's like going to Texas and Texas A&M.
Yeah,
I don't care. I can't. I don't have time to care about those.
You don't care about those rivalries, right?
Yeah,
That's cool that you don't care about those rivalries.
Sean's not a rival guy. So anyway, I'll try and cut this down to the quick.
No, go ahead.
Sean, so I said, well, what are you going to do? And Sean's like, oh, well, I'm going to become maybe a teacher at a junior college. And I said, do you know how hard it is to get a full-time job at a junior college? And he's like, no, I didn't know. And so I told him, I said, yeah, there's like maybe 40% of the jobs are full-time and the rest are just adjunct, and you're going to work at like 4 different schools, but you're not going to have a pension. You're not going to have medical benefits. And I said, why don't you teach high school? And, it was super brave of Sean and extremely nice of his wife, because he's, the pay, he was going to really cut back on his pay scale, right? He was going to be a first-year high school teacher. He's, deep into his life and his career, got a house. He's, I have no clue how he made it work the first 5 years. But his wife was really supportive. And I was an okay teacher before Sean showed up, but Sean has transformed me into at least a B+ teacher, which is amazing. And it is so cool working with, pretty much my best friend. I can't think of anybody else. And he challenges me, and we think about things, and we don't teach at the same level, but we go back, like literally he's all the way across the campus. We don't teach in the same wing, and I'll think of an idea and I'll sprint over there during our passing period.
That's how I get my exercise every day, is running over the stereo.
Sprint over, and because we have to tell each other face to face, we can't just like write it out because we're so excited, right? And it's awesome.
That's cool.
Yeah.
You know what?
No, and Dave was very prophetic, because this was right before the big financial crisis, and I'm like, oh, okay, that sounds fun, and I still had these illusions of like, oh, I'll start at high school and then I'll move on to community college, and because I was just kind of like I didn't think about even possibly teaching until I was in college, until I realized like what I was passionate about, right? And so like when I was in high school, I had no clue, I had no desire to come back to teach. That was like the farthest thing from my mind. And so when Dave suggested that, I'm like, yeah, we'll see. But the difference that you can make in high school is so much bigger than in college. And so and they're really at this formative stage. And like I said, had I and I did have teachers. I mean, the reason why I'm an English teacher is really because of my English teachers here that I had at Fountain Valley. And so and so I stuck it through, and I love it, and it's been amazing. Yeah.
One of the things Sean brought up one time, and I thought it was so awesome, was when you work with an adult and they're kind of whatever, and you kind of don't like what that whatever is, you're like, no. But when it's a kid, you're like, maybe he'll grow up a little, or maybe he'll change, or maybe he'll whatever. So we
There's
like being,
hope.
There's hope, right? And we like being in the hope business.
Yeah, for sure.
Nice.
With adults, it's over, right? They are who they are, and that's it. And you're just like, I can't believe I have to work with this kid, with this person. But with students, with high school students, there's hope for them. And so,
So you guys work with high school kids, so there's still hope for you.
Yes, exactly.
I hope my wife never gives up hope.
That's right. You know what, Sean, and there's a little side note to that. When early on in that story, when David just said to say hi to your brother or whatever, and then you came over to his house, he said he thought you were a little
That's not true.
stalking him.
That's not true.
I know. I just made that
That's
up.
so not
That was
true.
totally made up, everybody. Okay.
Sean
That's good.
is the stalkery, creepy person in the world because he's wide open. Like he's got balloons and trumpets going when he shows up. Like he would be the worst stalker in the world.
Yeah. If I'm stalking you, you know about it. I'm hey, here I am. What's up? Let's go. How do you think I got my wife to marry me? Like,
Oh, that's
honey?
a good story too.
Well, that's awesome. All right, so now I saw in one of the things you wanted to talk about, you also mentioned. Okay, so I'm a stalker of this next person. That's kind of why I said this, because I've stalked him a little bit. So Austin Kleon, why don't you talk a little bit about Show Your Work, because that was one of the things you mentioned, and I actually do have pictures when I went to go meet Austin Kleon.
Cool. Oh, I should have dug up pictures. Yeah, I have some pictures with him. So this is going back, and this is going back a few years when speaking of stalking, when I was on Twitter years ago and just using it to basically stalk people. I mean, in my previous job.
That's when we met. So I just feel like we should celebrate.
Exactly. In my previous job working in the music industry, I mean, we would sign up for all of the new stuff that would come out. I mean, bands. My job was to sign bands to this label here in Huntington Beach, and I do radio promotion. And so you're always telling the story of your bands, your marketing. You're telling stories, right? So we would sign up for every social media thing that was happening and try it out and use it and tell the story about our bands and use it. So I had been on Twitter for years, and so when I started teaching, I just followed a lot of people, but I wasn't following any teachers. It was all people that I'd been following before, but people like
Why
writers.
would you follow a teacher? Seriously,
I don't know.
Seriously.
But then I started following more teachers, but it was mostly in stalking, right? So Austin Kleon was one of these people that I just he had a blog that I liked to follow and watch. And so one time with his first, I think this was even before any of his books, he was doing his blackout poetry, and so he does newspaper blackout poetry, takes the New York Times, blacks it out, makes a found poem out of it. So I'm like, oh, and this is what I would do in school. How can I steal that and use it in the classroom, right? How can I use that? So I started doing novel blackout poetry, and then one day on his blog, he said, hey, if any teachers are using this, please let me know. I'm like, okay, cool. So I put together my whole PowerPoint introduction thing, put up student work, sent it to him, and he put it on his website, published my PowerPoint, and I'm like, I felt the disturbance in the force, like, whoa, the effect that using social media can have in your classroom as a teacher, sharing student work, and that just kind of blew the doors open. And so then, of course, when he did, share like an artist or steal like an artist, and show your work, we started reading those as education books and how to transform our classrooms using those ideas that he has for artists. And because teaching is both an art and a science, and so they really kind of fit in with what we're doing.
I think his stuff's great. Have you gotten the new book from him with the Steal Like an Artist journal? Have you seen that one?
Yeah, no, I've seen it. Sorry, Austin, haven't purchased it yet. I love journals. I'm jealous of people who put out. I really like this idea of putting out a journal. One of my favorites is Wreck This Journal. I don't know if I don't know. Dave has that. That's really fun because there are all these little journal prompts. So. For English teachers, it's very natural to have a journal type thing. But I don't have that yet. But I still steal from him all the time.
Yeah, I love the blackout poetry. And then
matter of fact, he just came out with a blog post. It was a list of how to read more, and he put out 6 ways of how to read more. And so in my class, I literally saw him like, hey, who wants to stick around during lunch? I'll give you some participation credit, right? If you want to do it, you have to be willing to be on social media and you have to be willing to have your picture taken. And so kids are like, Z-Barth, I don't know. I'll do it. Okay, maybe I'll do it. And then sure enough, I had 6 kids, and we put it together really quick and just kind of did a photo illustration of his list, how to read more.
And what happened to that?
Oh, well, of course. I mean, Austin, he likes it. I think, he retweets it.
Well, and then one of the kids was holding a book by Gustavo, who's a local newspaper, and he did a taco.
Yes. Oh, right.
What is it?
Taco USA.
Taco USA. The kid's reading the book, and of course, then Gustavo, that author, sees it and retweets it, right? So the kids are entering into that conversation with real artists, and they're just one of them, and giving them content that they like enough that they want to retweet, right?
Yeah. And I mean, the common complaint with teaching English and literature, which is, why are we reading a bunch of old dead white men, right? And so the fact that students can read and then connect with living authors of diverse backgrounds, I mean, it's amazing. It throws that whole complaint out the window. So it's really exciting for the students, to be involved like that.
That's cool. All right, so here I've got a new segment. Ready?
Oh,
This is I see a request to bring Amy Fadege back into the show. Now, Amy is usually very talkative on the show to all the people on the side. So what's going on? All right, so Amy, what's going on today in the world of Amy Fadege, real quick? What is going on? Are you just really tired from traveling to the East Coast now, and it's all hitting you? It's like you're like this.
No, I'm
No,
sorry.
keep going. I'm going to step out. I'm a loudmouth because I'm going to get a drink something.
Okay, go ahead and get. Yeah, of course you can get a drink. Of course.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is our new segment. Ready?
Let's
Let's get to drink, and Amy talks about what's going on. You know what shirt I'm wearing today? I am. Watch. Let's see. Hold on. There it is.
Yeah, you are. Yeah.
Pengrove in the house. What's going on at Pengrove? What's going on?
Oh my gosh, at Pengrove, man,
Not burning lasagna this week.
No, I haven't burnt lasagna for teachers this week. I have been spending a lot of time with some of my students who just need like an extra, little touch or time, So I have had these rainy days are hard for those kiddos that really need to get out and about. So I've been spending a lot of time with some students one-on-one, hanging out, supporting them. And my sister-in-law is visiting from Nigeria right now, which has been really fun. She hasn't been in a school in the U.S. since she was in 3rd grade herself. And so it was so fun. Like, I toured her through school today, and we walked in all these classrooms, and she was remembering, and my 3rd grade teacher did this, and my 2nd grade teacher did this. So we actually called the school that she went to in Louisville, Kentucky, and we're trying to track down her 3rd grade teacher because she has all these great memories. And I'm like, you have to tell her this. This is cool. Amazing. So,
you always have something going on.
So yeah, that was the day in the life of Fadege. I stopped by Katina's house on my way home, and really important to have a principal friend to kind of bounce ideas off. And
I know Kurt Reeves on a Voxer only goes so far. You need to have that face-to-face time, I think, a little bit, right?
Right.
Peggy George would like to know, where do you spend time with your students one-on-one? Is it in your office? Do you go eat lunch with them at the lunch table?
So I hate being in my office, although the problem is it's super fun in there. So
you don't
my
like
sister-in-law
fun?
was like,
fun?
no, I am. She's like, she's like, this is kind of like a conference room. I'm like, yeah, I don't have a desk. She's like, why? And I'm like, well, I don't need one. I don't why do I want to sit at a desk? So yesterday I spent time with my little buddy Gavin, we were on the floor of my office. I was giving him a dictionary lesson. He was really upset that there was a picture of a dinosaur, an Allosaurus, not in the D section.
That's it.
So that took some extra love. So I was on the floor,
all whacked out. Yeah, I like that kid, that Gavin kid.
Right? Gavin is the best. I spent I don't know. I was in 80% of my classrooms today. I was in the cafeteria. I was in our green room. So any little place that I can find on campus. I don't know. That's good. Enough for me now. Everyone's
by the way, Fadege gave just a kick butt talk at the IPDX conference. And if you have not been to Integrate Ed Portland, you should make plans at the end of February next year to come on up. Someday David Terrio will come up there, but I have a feeling that David Terrio is a dedicated man. He's teaching his students, and so he doesn't have time like me, who doesn't have to do like report cards and conferences and stuff. I just prance in and I prance out,
IPDX is on my bucket list. If I can just find a way to not only get myself paid, but my whole family, take a week off, go on vacation to Portland.
Oh, yeah, that'd be awesome.
IPDX it.
That would be good. Yeah. Sean Zebarth, we have one final question for you, because I was looking at the hashtag you put into the chat. So it's kind of like English comp as happening, and it kind of looked like you had some sketch notes, kind of like Amy Berval style there going. And
Amy
about that.
Yeah, no, Amy. I found this book. I don't even remember how I surfed across this book, but this changed. This has changed my life. But I could already tell that I'm going to need to revisit it a lot, because essentially the big idea of this book, English Composition as a Happening, it's written by Jeffrey Sirk. He is a professor at the University of Minnesota. He's a composition professor, and it's written for the English composition, the first year composition course in college, which is my class is the equivalent of that. All right, it's AP English Language and Composition. And his big argument is, you really have to take students where they're at as writers, as people, and you have to respect that and work with that, and not lower your expectations, but make your expectations more realistic. That they're not going to write the great American novel or the great American essay, but they could very well be on their way, and they have important things to say, that they are humans and they could teach all of us something, and we have to listen to those things that they have to teach us. And it has really changed my idea of my way of grading and teaching composition, and it's made me much more empathetic to them as writers, and I think that is definitely missing, and I think it's a huge important message. It's kind of a grind of a book to get through, right, David? He relates teaching composition to teaching art, and I'm a geek of both things, so it's like
it's a book that will
drawing pretty pictures because it was so fun to read. But yeah, it's kind of a grind.
It will reward multiple readings. That you're going to be able to go back and get something different out of it the next time, and something different out of it. So I kind of like that.
And he's actually kind of calls for a whole dismantling of the way the university's even structured. So it's a big kind of political. It's a big, bold statement. And so, I wanted to do sketch notes, because I've, messed around with sketchnoting before. And you mentioned Amy Berval, because she's a hero of mine. And so, I shared out, I think, like my first sketch from the book, and it was just so dense because there was so many ideas. And she's like, Sean, quit sketchnoting like everybody else sketch notes. Like, you don't have to jam it all into one page. Like, take one idea and sketch one idea. And I'm like, that's a great idea. And so it really kind of changed how I was doing it. And I called that my hashtag Cirque Summer, because David and I and some other English teachers that we work with and our friends, we said, hey, let's read this summer. And so that was my summer reading. But I was still doing sketch notes, way into November and December, and I'm still not done. So like David says, it does require multiple readings. And so I plan, and really, as I've been grading my next round of papers, I could tell that I need his message back in my head, because I go back into the, as English teachers, we're so used to all the mistakes students make, and we're so quick to base our feedback and our judgment of their papers on those things. And so I really need a refresh of Cirque. Yeah, so
that's good. Sean, I was just thinking as you were talking, what are some of the things that you do? Like, I have a feeling you're kind of like me, like you're never satisfied. I always feel like there's something more for me to learn. I feel like I just always want to keep learning. What are some of the things that you do to just kind of stay fresh and keep learning besides like look at just books and reread books and things like that?
I try. I like to talk to my students a lot about this particular idea and really get them, because I think it helps them think about their education and what kind of education they're receiving. I put together an evaluation that students do of me like halfway through the year, and that is awesome. I'll share it with you guys, and I've actually made it so you can make a copy of it, and any teacher could use it to use in their classroom. I have the students do it anonymously. I ask them all to do it, and they give me great feedback. And so I do it halfway through the year, not at the end of the year. I mean, the first time I did it, speaking of learning, John, I do it at the end of the year. Hey, let's do this. But the end of the year is too late. There goes all those students.
Right.
So I started doing it at the semester. Mm-hmm. So then I use their feedback. And when it's funny because you get feedback through, like, you could look up some of that stuff like on Rate My Teacher, for example, where the kids are, and I've actually learned things about my teaching even from Rate My Teacher. But when I give the students a chance, and they know, even though that I don't know who they are, but I've given them that opportunity to give me that direct feedback, they are extremely respectful, extremely helpful, and have a lot of great ideas on how to tweak the things that we're doing. And I ask them what teachers, what other teachers do that you like and that are effective for you. And so I really like to involve them in it.
That sounds great. I mean, that's a great answer. And then the funny thing is, I was just sitting there today, and Amy, you're going to like this one. I was finishing out a class that I was helping today, and I had to take a Google Hangout with Scott Bedley. And so he could see the school, right? Whoa. Yeah, I know. And so we were just talking about stuff, but we're having like a district in-service day tomorrow, so the kids have a 3-day weekend. And we've been getting these bits boxes. I kind of want to start like this after-school club, but I haven't really had enough time to like go through. But there's this one kid in that class that loves the bits boxes, and he's like talking to me while I'm there, and I'm like, you know what? I was like, here, I really want to start an after-school club with this. Here, take this bits box and see what you figure out for me. And I just gave it to him. I just gave it to him cold. And I was just like, come back. I'll come back next week. You give me some feedback and tell me what we can do. Like, I'm going to start just having kids figure out stuff for me,
Yesterday, I sent home, I might be exaggerating on the price of that. What is that mic called? It's like,
not the Snowball or the iRig.
It's not the iRig. I have that one already, but it's like, it sits. I don't know. Bill Selleck told me to get it, and it's really nice. And it was like hundreds of dollars. And this one of my kids in my video production crew uses it, but he says it's not working right. I'm like, Colin, it has to work right. We're just always rushed. We don't have time. So I sent home this like $300 or $400 mic with this kid's like cords hanging everywhere. And I'm like, hey, can you guys just figure this out? Like, when you get it figured out, just send it back. She's like, okay. And it was the same thing. Just like, okay, like, I don't have time to do all this, but you guys, I trust you guys,
I do. You got to have some trust. That's a nice microphone too. Peggy George commended me on my purple Prince mic right there, my blue Snowball that's purple. So purple being my favorite color. So,
I like my iPhone mic.
Hey, can I throw something out? First of all, I like this. I like Blab. This is the first time I've used Blab, so this is very fun. I feel like I'm on the Brady Bunch, right? Because you've got, except there's not as many squares. And do you guys use Snapchat?
A little bit. Okay. I've been trying because I think that it's a pretty powerful tool. It is. I wish I could learn it a little bit more.
So there's something on there. It's called like Mind Meld or Face Meld or Face whatever they match their faces together. Right. But I think we could do this on Blab. So John, if you scoot over and look directly at the David, get a screenshot of it. No, scoot over towards me.
Yeah.
The other way.
Oh, okay.
Other way. No, line up. No, keep going. Keep going the other way. You want to get your face half in. Half in. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Okay, hold still. David.
I'm working it. Got it.
Okay, Amy. Go like higher up. Like high, like we're not going to be able to see your eyes. Yeah, eyes gone.
Eyes gone?
You're going to be my. I'm going to have your mouth.
Is that good?
Sean, I can't take the screenshot because it says Amy has poor internet signal, or I do. I don't know.
And Amy, you got to scoot over to the other way.
Amy is only a principal. She doesn't make that much money to have high-speed internet.
Keep scooting over the other way, Amy.
Okay, I can get it now.
I'm sorry. This is not going to be any fun to listen to. Keep scooting.
I know. Well, here I'll do some. Thanks to Mr. Nessie for joining. Mr. Nessie, the founder of the Edu Podcast Network, is in the house. So here, we'll give him a little applause here.
Oh, there you go. Okay, that was fun. Thank you.
Okay. Do you think it's going to work?
I couldn't stop seeing that, and I have to meld faces with people. now we could go four-way and all tuck into this, this corner if we wanted to.
No.
No, we don't have to. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm messing this up.
So,
No,
David is desperately trying to take screenshots or something with his phone.
No, I was gonna use Snapchat and face meld you guys.
Okay, so John, about Blab, I've listened to the podcast, but then Dave said you use Blab. Mm-hmm. Is this only a live thing, or does it record later?
So the thing is, right, a lot of people are actually, how we used to do Google Hangouts.
Yeah.
And sometimes the Google Hangouts can get a little bit spotty, and then they went through, and sometimes, quite frankly, it was hard to get guests that weren't really computer savvy onto the Google Hangout properly, and you have to be friends with them and things.
Yeah.
So this one's easy because you just sign up for an account with your Twitter account, and then what they do afterwards, it saves me a lot of time, is after this is over and I stop the recording, they will not only send me the video, which now I can just go here, just upload it to YouTube, which I haven't done yet, but then they give me the audio. So now I don't have to I don't have to strip the audio out of YouTube, put it into some weird site where there's a whole bunch of pop-up kind of things. So it actually eliminates steps for me. And I don't know. I really like it. It's too bad we can only have 4 sometimes, I think. And I wish it had better sound effects because I just have to have my iPad open here. But I kind of like it. I don't know. It's good.
Yeah.
No, it is good. But, I think 4 is nice because if you have too many people on, it's a little too much. Yeah,
it can be too much conversation, and especially with me in there already, that's already blowing the proportion out of it. But we've been doing we've been talking to people across the district with this, and so we've been holding my friend I'll give her a plug, Mrs. Carter HLA on the Twitters. We actually hold we have computer lab teachers in the district, and we just use a Blab, and everybody can watch on the side. And then, if somebody said I have something to tell, then I can just punt Amy out of it.
Oh, right.
And they bring them back in.
Yeah.
So it's not like the 4 people have to stay static or anything like that. So that's kind of an interesting feature with the Blab. So I don't know. We kind of like it. I think
it's a little find.
Cool to try with your students, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah. David has.
My kids did. What did they read? I can't even remember what they read, but Siddhartha. My kids did book discussions on Siddhartha using Blab, and we were a little twitchy about the whole anybody can jump into the Blab. I've already contacted Blab, can we please have a private privacy mode or something like that for the first time they do it? And they did have a couple of people jump in, but luckily everybody was okay and polite and nice, and nobody did anything weird and stuff. Yeah. But the kids thought it was weird that anybody could just jump in, and they did seeing the little map at the top, what countries are watching and what was going on.
It's really interesting. Well, so Scott Bedley and I, when we were doing the podcast last time, we did have our first guy jump in and kind of say hey guys, do this or whatever, and Scott could not stop cracking up the whole time. So I kind of had to go through. It was very inappropriate, but one time, Sean, we just had a guy come in that was watching that we didn't know, and we said, hey, why don't you come on in then? And he was a tech director in Denmark, I want to say. And so we just brought him on the show impromptu and talked to him. I mean, how would we ever get to talk to somebody like that? Sometimes it is kind of a good thing to be able to tweet these things out and go through. And it's like Periscope. Periscope was like the wild, wild west for a little bit, but now you can kind of filter that chat because everybody's like, yes.
How can you? You should teach me that later,
I'll
because
teach you
I
that.
still worry about that when I like go into classrooms and I'm like, are shady people gonna start like commenting on
Okay,
this?
I'll show you how to do that. It's a pretty easy thing in settings. But yeah, I think it's cool. And so well, Sean, I hope you come up for I hope you talk David into driving up for breakfast at Q.
Please come have breakfast on Saturday, you guys. That's like a week and 2 days away.
Easy. I'm in. You know what? If Dave's not coming with me, I could get Chris Long to come with me.
That's
right. There we go.
Smith.
And Chris is better looking than me anyway.
Well,
David,
he's
there
better
are
looking than
very few
everybody.
people that are better looking than David Terrell. I just want to say that right now.
David, all
Yeah.
you have to start doing is working out with kettlebells, and you'll just be.
Yeah. There we go. Well, Sean, thank you for I know that. And then Ryan O'Donnell comes in with that's my handsome men of EdTech calendar. When I go down to Q next week, I do plan to have some photo shoots. So
All right.
any handsome men of EdTech that want to come into my new book, that's my new book. Some people write books on like how to use Google Classroom or how to innovate, innovators mindset. I just make calendars of the handsome men of EdTech. So that's what I'll be doing.
Be
we might be poolside. Yeah, Amy will.
Yes,
Amy will
John,
be there.
oh my gosh.
Right, she'll bring you a bottled water if you get parched during the
Best
shoot.
fish tacos ever
That's
are
right.
at that pool.
Yeah,
So excited. Hey, how long are you going to be there?
I am going to be there from Wednesday to Saturday.
Like all the way through Saturday.
Yeah, whenever I have to get my ride back to Vegas. Woo woo woo! Oh wait, hold on. No, going to Vegas. That's where I fly into. It's
so
sad
excited.
it's sad that I have to fly into Vegas at I have to leave at 6 a.m, and then I have to wait for my ride until she gets off work, and then we're gonna drive through the old Mojave Desert. But I guess I'll have to kill some time in Vegas. I wonder what I'll do.
Yeah, I don't know, but you need to hang out on Saturday. It's so fun after we have breakfast with these two.
I will be at the Unconference on Saturday, and I'll be running the Minecraft, and we even have a session this year. It'll be my first session.
Okay, great.
John, I need to know,
fun.
what's your Vegas game of choice?
So, David, since I used to live in Vegas, I am a big just video poker nerd. I play video poker. It's probably the most addictive form of gambling there is in Vegas, and all the Vegas people play video poker. That's what they play. 5-card draw, blum, 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 blum.
Okay.
Sometimes you get lucky. So, yeah. And Amy saw me playing it when we were in Vegas, right?
Yeah,
and
great.
Amy was like, I was even talking to her. She's like, John, pay attention. I'm right here. And I'm like, come on, I'm winning 5 nickels here. Come on now.
Like 5 cents for AG, 5 cents. Stop talking to me.
Yeah, I actually did win at that Vegas.
That's how I feel at Kappa Honda. Kappa Honda is my Vegas.
Oh my gosh, that was so good.
Yeah.
Such good. I need some good sushi.
Good time.
Sean, thank you so much for coming on. Tell your students they're big troopers for staying there and working, and we would love to see the video. Where's the video going to be posted once they're done?
It'll be on our website, vimeo.com/bbn.
Okay, so I will put all of the links that Sean has talked about into a nice Adobe Slate. Adobe Slate, if you haven't heard, projectm.adobe.slate or projectm.adobe.com maybe. Just do it. It is a new beta. You can do Adobe Voice videos on the Chromebook and Adobe Slate, nice web pages, and Adobe Post. We also want to thank everyone for listening. Right now, we've been getting over 500 downloads per day, which is insane for us. We have not been usually getting this many downloads. So if you
it's Peggy 499 times.
It is. It's Peggy downloading it on her 499 devices, and then Ann Jinx with the other. But thank you for doing that. If you ever feel like going into iTunes and giving us a review, and I usually never plug for that stuff, iTunes we're always way down, but in Podomatic we're way up. So I don't know. But yeah, if you ever feel like giving us a review, we'd appreciate it because, I don't know, we'd appreciate it. All right, Amy, any famous last words?
Oh my gosh, famous last words. Guys, it's been a wet week in Cali, so stay dry and stay safe. And if your name is Sean, then you're a freaking rock star.
Thank you.
Oh, that's nice. And Amy, we will catch you on the
flip side.